Hello there, everybody, this is General Snivy, and welcome back to more Banjo Kazooie speedrunning. Today, we're hopefully going to possibly get a time on the frickin' Speedrun.com leaderboards for the N64 category of Banjo Kazooie. So, with that in mind, let us begin. It's been quite a while since I've last had a chance to speedrun this game. I think it's been about 2 weeks or so. Anyway, the reason why it's been so long... And yeah, I do agree, F-Zero really does need to have a sequel, especially on Switch. You know what would be amazing? Since we're still technically in the era of remasters and remakes, how about they remake F-Zero X for the Switch and bring over the expansion kit's features such as the track creator and the machine creator and just expand upon them. That would be awesome. You'd be surprised how creative people can be when it comes to the track creator. I know, because I've actually made several tracks in the F-Zero expansion kit, as I've clearly showcased during my playthrough of F-Zero expansion kit. That was like several years ago now. Holy crap. Okay. Now then, as I was saying before, yeah, that would be awesome. Anyway, back to what I was saying before. It has been a while since I've last played this game. And hang on, I need to concentrate on this. At least for a little bit. Okay. That's an image you don't see every day. Goopy. Okay. Well, definitely glad I didn't try to input a marker. Otherwise, I would have been in some... not exactly in trouble. Whoops, that was the wrong letter. Not exactly off to a very promising start, now are we? Oops. Okay. Phew, okay. Well, that was pretty annoying. 5? Okay, no. I think it was 6. Okay, there we go. Finally, we have a minigame we can actually KMS in. Jeez. Funny enough, I've been trying to get a time on the frickin' leaderboards. Okay, let me go ahead and explain what's going on here. This is not a special cartridge. Basically, there is a glitch in the game where if you die during a minigame in the quiz show, aka Furnace Fun, and you go to play a new file, you will then be able to transfer all the moves that you've learned from the previous file over to the new file, and they become activated upon entering Mumbo's Mountain. That is known as Furnace Fun Moveset. It's a very popular glitch that many speedrunners utilize, especially the top runners. It's very easy to execute. Basically, there are two methods of executing FFM. FFM, the traditional method, is learning every single move in the game, but eggs and feathers. So, any sort of egg abilities or feathers whatsoever, any of those are not allowed to be learned with the traditional method. The non-traditional method is you learn every single move in the game regardless. The difference between the traditional and non-traditional method of FFM is the traditional method, you just learn the moves and you get those extra eggs and feathers from bottles upon learning the move. But when you are going for the non-traditional method, you have to collect those eggs and feathers on your own, even though you already have those moves learned. So you have to take additional time to grab those extra collectibles. And oddly enough, the non-traditional method is arguably faster on Xbox versus N64, while N64 is more advantageous to have the traditional FFM method. Regardless of which method you use, the execution is the same. Just play through the entire game, collect as many collectibles as you can, and collect up to 765 notes, so that way you can access Furnace Fun. And once you reach Furnace Fun, you then have to make your way to a timer square, aka a minigame square, and you have to play one of, I think, 5 minigames, and there's only a couple of them of which you can actually kill yourself in. If you happen to do that on your very last life, aka when you have 0 lives, you will get a game over and it acts like nothing ever happened. But if you do this and then, say, decide to open up a new save file and begin a new game, upon entering Mumbo's Mountain, all the moves that you've had from that previous save file are then transferred over. I think the technical terminology that is used for that is all the moves and stuff are stored in RAM or something, the N64's memory. This also applies with the Xbox version of the game too. It works the same exact way and the method is the same. So you can do FFM on both N64 as well as Xbox. Though Xbox is a separate category, it doesn't matter. It's basically the same game, just different methods of execution of certain things. FFM is not one of those things. So, now that I've actually executed the glitch, when I go to load up a new save file such as this, it will act like it's normal at first, but upon reaching Mumbo's Mountain, as soon as I begin, I should immediately be able to do Talon Trot. I've actually made a pretty in-depth video on this, and actually did a live stream from start to finish on how you can execute this whole thing. And if you give me just a moment, I'll bring that up. So, hang on a second. Let me grab that real fast. This is going to take only a few moments here. Sometimes the YouTube Studio Beta can take quite a while to load things, especially when you're in the middle of doing stuff. It doesn't really like it when there's a lot going on screen. So, bear with me here. This shouldn't take too much longer. Here it is. Okay. Here is the link to that video of how I've set up FFM and basically everything that you need to know about the whole setup. And again, it went in depth and showed the entire creation of an FFM save file from start to finish. It's not that complicated, it's just you have to know some things going in. And there are some things and some glitches that you may need to know if you're going to be able to get everything that you need. I'm just saying, there are some things that you need to learn. Thankfully, it's not the most complicated thing in the world, but even so, it can take some time. It can be pretty time-consuming. But trust me, the end result will be worth it. Alright. With that done, let's add a marker, and we shall begin now. Here we go. So, how FFM works, or at this point, it may not seem like much of anything is happening, and you are right in that assumption, but like I said, we have to get to Mumbo's Mountain in order for the glitch to be fully activated. However, if, say you're in the middle of speedrunning Spiral Mountain and something like this happens and things go absolutely wrong, if you happen to simply exit out of the game and just reload or just try to do another new game, so long as you haven't turned off the N64, you can still do the glitch. And you don't have to go through the entire setup all over again. Not unless you made it to Mumbo's Mountain, in which case you will have to do the entire thing again. Oh, damn it. Well, this is definitely not a very good start. Well, this is only the first run of the day. So, of course, the first run is going to be very, very rusty. Especially considering the fact I haven't played this in over 2 weeks. Just a lot of things have been happening over the past few weeks that it's not even funny. And we're only just getting started since this is May. And I've brought this up in a text update on Twitter as well as the community tab on YouTube. But May is a very busy month due to me having to watch my aunt's dog Murphy next week, or this week coming up rather. Not only that, but shortly after, my sister's going to be coming up and visiting from Maryland. Alright. Here we are. Though we only got a 221, oh, hello, we have a new follower. That notification should be popping up any second now. And our newest follower is Buried Memory 25. Hello and welcome to the stream, and thank you so much for the follow, dude. Highly appreciate it. Alright. Now then, since we made it to Mumbo's Mountain, let's do Talent Route and get moving. So at this point, FFM is now fully activated. And there's the notification. Once again, dude, thank you so much for the follow. Highly appreciate it. Hope you enjoy your stay here. So at this point, if I would end up resetting, which is a very likely scenario that will more than likely is going to be happening relatively soon, especially considering my sloppy movement, I would have to set up FFM all over again. Oh dear, that was too close. Whew. Okay, well, I will say that was kind of sloppy. But thankfully, it could have been much worse. Wait, why did I say thankfully? Like I wanted that to happen? No, not at all. Okay. Okay. Oh, really? How did I miss that? Well, so far, Mumbo's Mountain is not exactly doing me any favors. Especially if Conga can't aim for frickin' beans! So as you see here, despite me activating FFM earlier on, I still had to learn how to do the egg shot. And upon learning the move, I'm given like 50 eggs to practice with. However, if you're doing the non-traditional SFM route, then you'd have to run around Mumbo's Mountain and collect eggs in order to do the tasks that require eggs. Same goes with feathers of any kind, whether it be gold or red feathers. So, TLDR is... God damn it. N64, it's faster to have traditional SFM versus non-traditional SFM is faster on Xbox. And the reason why that method is faster on Xbox is because you don't have to listen through any of Bottles' dialogue as you're trying to go through and learn all the moves and everything all over again. You can just collect what you need and just run. Alright, we're almost done here. Just got a few more things to pick up and then we'll be on our merry way. Thankfully, Mumbo's Mountain is a pretty easy level to get through. Of course, it is the first level in the game. However, despite the fact that it is easy, there are some tricks here that are only possible on N64 version 1.0 of the game. And that being what is known as Termite Skip. Termite Skip is a technique where you can ascend up Tinker Tower without the termite transformation. Whew. Okay, I'm kind of surprised I managed to pull off that skip. Of course, we still have one last thing to do before we leave. There we go. All done with that. Granted, the method I did of climbing up that slope there was considered the slower of the two methods. The more difficult method is you just continue going up that little cliffside until you reach the Jiggy. And like, that is a lot easier said than done. The second method is an alternate method. It's slower, but it's safer, and you're more than likely guaranteed that you're going to make it up the cliffside without too much, Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad that you found it useful. If I have to assume this is probably your first time learning about the... Oh, split? Oh, shoot! Thanks for that. Jeez. I really wish there was such a thing as auto-split for Banjo Kazooie. I knew they have that for PC. For like PC games or PC versions of certain games, such as the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, as well as Sonic Adventure 2. But I'm not so sure about other games. I know for a fact that not very many console games, or any at all for that matter, have auto splits. Oh, there is? Sweet. Is there one for Banjo Kazooie? Because I want to know if there is. Well, I'm definitely glad I taught you something new, Shadow Raw. Learning to speedrun Banjo Kazooie is quite a fun adventure within itself. There's so much that there is to learn about this game, and even I don't know everything or every single trick in the book yet. Though I know about some of the more popular tricks, there is still like 2 major skips that I still need to learn. Well, technically the 2 skips are combined into one, but hey, I'm just saying. Anyway, one of the tricks I need to learn yet still is Freezes the Peak early, 450 note door skip, and finally Reverse B adventure. I still need to learn about those tricks or know how to execute them properly. It is a... I just wonder how I can set it up, though. If anyone knows of any sort of in-depth tutorial on how to set up auto splits for Banjo Kazooie, please let me know. I really feel as though I need to use that. No, I don't think he does. I think Slim Kirby primarily does Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past randomizers. That's what he primarily does. 4, 5, 6, 7. Though I have seen him speedrun Mario Party 1's Minigame Island. So that is something else that I've seen him do. Other than that, though, he primarily does Zelda Randomizer on A Link to the Past. Okay, come on, grab the notes on the frickin' railing, please. So, other than FFM being a pretty major requirement for being able to speedrun Banjo Kazooie, well, technically speaking, you don't have to use it. it's entirely up to you. In fact, when I first started speedrunning Banjo Kazooie, I had no idea that SSM even existed, so for the longest time, I never even used it. It wasn't until quite a while later, after like around the second or third time I attempted to speedrun the game, that I learned about SSM, how to set it up, how it works. And basically, after using that method, I never went back. Never went back to non-SSM. So along with that particular glitch, there are some other tricks that you can learn. I don't really know if they're considered glitches or not. One of them, this one is a glitch. Although I messed it up poorly. Crap. Yeah, I think I'm just going to reset after that. Screw it. Oh, that was horrendous. Yeah, I do remember when Slim Kirby did a Let's Play of this game. It was a long time ago. Though, I still don't quite understand why he chose to play N64 versus the Xbox 360. Though, N64 is technically faster to speedrun, in a casual setting, Xbox is superior in every way. I mean, the graphics are improved quite considerably. The quality of life improvements that were added into Banjo Kazooie is miles better than the original N64 ever was. Oh, okay. Of course, there are people out there who think the N64 version of Banjo Kazooie really is better, even in a casual setting. And for that, I say, that's fine. You like your version, I like mine. But anyway, as I was saying, not only are there the improved graphics and the quality of life improvements, but Stop and Swap, which was originally a scrapped feature in the N64 version of Banjo Kazooie, though you could still technically kinda do it, it was brought back and was functional in the Xbox 360 version of the game, which is pretty freaking sweet. Not gonna lie. The quality of life improvements that that are in the Xbox 360 version are that note scores. The high note score system was completely scrapped and reworked. So whatever notes you collect, they stay collected, no matter if you die or if you leave the level. So that is awesome. Dang it. Okay. I'm gonna need to concentrate on this for a little bit. Oh, man. Couldn't remember if that was Mad Monster or Rusty. This is definitely Mad. Okay. Of course, that's a Jinjo. Kind of weird how I'm getting such difficult questions. Alright. What we got here? Cool. Nice. At least we got a minigame we can actually take a mess in. On our first attempt. Okay. Alright. Let's go ahead and try this again, and here we go. So anyway, back to what I was saying before, with the quality of life improvements of which the 360 version of the game received, along with the note score system being reworked and basically removed from existence, the load times are faster overall. Not only that, but what else did it employ? Dang it, I can't remember off the top of my head. Though despite the extra quality of life improvements that the 360 version of the game received, N64 is still faster to speedrun due to one major factor, or technically two. One, on version 1.0 of the game, you're able to do termite skip, while on Xbox 360 it's not possible since that version of the game is based on version 1.1. On version 1.1 of Banjo Kazooie on N64, it's no longer possible to do termite skip. So you must grab the termite in order to ascend Tinker Tower and grab the Witch Switch Jiggy for Mumbo's Mountain. However, one other thing that the N64 version of the game does have over all the others, including the Xbox version, is that on N64, no matter what version of the game you're playing, you can skip through most dialogue boxes very easily by pushing L, R, and B at the same time. And that is a reset immediately. That is unfortunate. Okay, so as I was saying earlier, since you can do the button combination of skipping messages, that makes the N64, my PB. On Xbox, it is 2:55:20. Not the most impressive time in the world, but it is on Xbox, so it's currently ranked 14th. It was originally ranked 13th, but even so. It's ranked 13th, 14th, due to the time I have. Plus it's Xbox, so it's technically like 11 minutes slower. The reason why Xbox is 11 minutes slower is because of the fact that you cannot skip messages. You have to sit through the extra dialogue boxes and just speed them up like there's no tomorrow. That's basically how that works. Oh. Nothing I needed to reset on just yet? Well, okay. You are kind of right on that, because though I did fail bottle skip, it's not that big of a time loss on N64 because you can just skip through that dialogue box without too much of an issue. However, if you fail it on Xbox, you might as well reset right there, because you're losing about 10 to 15 seconds. And the reason why you lose so much more time on Xbox is, once again, due to the fact that you can't skip messages. You can only speed them up. That's all you can do. Again, I talk about it and it happens. Screw it, we'll just roll with it. "55 minutes exceptional time saves." Yeah, you're definitely right about that. That's for sure. Funny enough, there is a time save, like at the very end of the game, that was only just recently discovered. I do know how to do it, and funny enough, I practiced that particular skip for over an hour and a half, and I practically mastered it. Though, basically all the runs I've had up to this point, over the past month, have been less than stellar, and I haven't even made it to endgame. The furthest I've ever made it to on N64 in a speedrun setting is I made it to the very end of Click Clock Wood. I finished the level 100%, and upon grabbing the quote-unquote last witch lair Jiggy, I come to find out that, oh, I missed 2 Jiggies. And it was the 2 lair Jiggies from the other Witch Switch Jiggies of Freezy Peak and Mad Monster Mansion. And because I still do not know how to execute Reverse B Adventure, I was basically screwed. I was going to lose like around 5 minutes just because of that massive mistake. So there went that run in particular, and that really pissed me off, as well as this. I am getting better with Termite Skip, little by little. I still need some work when it comes to doing this on a consistent basis. I mean, I have practiced this quite a bit off screen, but it's still, like I've mentioned before, it needs work. It's not perfect by any means. Oh my god, how did I miss that? So anyway, I guess what I could talk about right now at this very moment is, you may be wondering, what the heck is Reverse B Adventure exactly? Well, Reverse B Adventure is a glitch where you glitch yourself out of bounds as B Banjo in the Click Clock Wood area, and you would instead just, fly around the lair and also return to some of the previous levels as B Banjo, and just do those. Do those levels as the B. From what I've seen top runners do is they would grab the B transformation and save most of the lair jiggies from the witch switches for when they acquire the B transformation, fly around, grab those jiggies, and then head into Bubble Gloop Swamp. They would save that level for last, oddly enough. Okay, how did I miss that? No idea. Regardless, that was dumb. Okay. Gotta love how sometimes random termites just love to ruin your day. Okay, how did that miss? That's better. It's kind of cool how sometimes you can actually shoot 2 eggs and knock out 2 layers of that totem pole relatively easily. And I think I'm the only one who does something like that. No other runner I've seen does that. Instead, they just run around the pole and just shoot eggs at it over and over. Okay, we're almost done here. There is one other technique that I haven't really gone over yet. This is not it. Yeah, that is true. It is kind of faster that you run around and hit the last one faster. I did it again with forgetting to mark my damn split. Whatever, at least I marked it sooner this time around. Ooh, man, you know I haven't been speedrunning a game in a while if I forget to mark my dang splits. Whoops. Whew. Alright, here's hoping that this time things will go better. Alright. Treasure Trove Cove is opened once again. It's time to go for a little swim yet again. A swim and a flight and everything else in between. Hopefully things will go better this time and I'll actually nail the first and second flight and the third one too. Funny enough, despite me playing through Treasure Trove Cove many times over, I am getting better at the 3 flights that you have to do in this entire level. Though nailing them on a consistent basis is still a pretty difficult endeavor. I am getting better at the first one. The second one I'm kind of struggling with at this point in time. And the third one is still the hardest one out of all 3. Thankfully, I do know how you're supposed to execute it. It's just actually doing so is the challenge within itself. I'm not sure if that was the correct words to use, but whatever. Oh, okay. That was weird. I somehow took fall damage, yet I still broke through the floor and phased right through. New speedrunning strat? Maybe? Who knows? I just discovered that by pure accident. Someone clip that, please. That would be awesome. Alright, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That should be enough height to get in. Nope, of course not! Because this game just loves to rob you of your height for whatever reason. Alright, at least we were able to recover that. Could have been worse. Much worse. Trust me. Don't you just love it when you're trying to glide into a treasure chest and for whatever reason it's like, come on, are you serious right now? Are you serious? Oh my god, grab the damn note, Jesus. Them railings, I swear, are probably one of the worst parts of Treasure Trove Cove. They're very finicky, and most of the time, even though you're trying to jump on the railing, it just forces you off. For no reason. I think I grabbed some health just in case. You never know. Especially if I fail this one, too. Alright, so far so good. Yeah, that's too high up. Alright, that's fine. That works. That totally works. Okay, second flight went a hell of a lot better than last time, that's for sure. Oh my god. Well, that didn't quite work. Oh well. Should still be okay. Especially if I get good old Snacker stuck. I'm surprised that I didn't get knocked out right away. Even though I was mashing the rat-a-tap-rap, for whatever reason, it wasn't fully registering every single input. Goddamn crabs. Alright. Well, this is kind of dangerous considering that we're in such low health right now. Okay. Now then. We still have a few more things to pick up over here. Then after all this is done and we drain the sandcastle, then we'll be getting ready for our final flight, which is the most difficult of all. Now hopefully I'll be able to nail it without being an idiot. But you never know. Here we go. Time to get this started. God damn it, of course I missed it. This is what I mean about this flight being the most difficult of all. There's those 3 notes that you gotta get on your first go. Then there's this part. And it's very easy to end up missing the Jinjo. Alright, let's try this instead. Oh, come on, really? You couldn't give me just that one extra pixel to allow me to just skip the animation altogether? So the ideal situation for that is, upon the beat bomb, you would hit the Jinjo's head, and thus you would spawn the Jiggy from it. Upon doing that, you would then just grab the honeycomb piece, the one Jiggy in the cave alcove, and then just continue flying, or at the very least continue making your way to where the Jiggy is located. Okay, what? Seriously? Okay. Alrighty. Come back soon. Okay. We're almost done here. We just gotta do one last thing. And that is complete this frickin' puzzle and set up the death warp. Of course, it's gonna be a little easier said than done. That works. Basically what I wanted to do right then and there. If you happen to die while you have a Jiggy in your hand, you'll still get it. You just skip the dance animation, which is pretty nice. Saves you several seconds, like 8 seconds. So that's pretty sweet. Okay. What am I doing? Hello? We need to do this first before we head to Clankers. Oh my god, grab it. Thank you. Well, that was kind of a pain. Alright. Next stop, Clanker's Cavern. Everyone's favorite level. Everyone's favorite water level. Clanker's Cavern. Right here now. Let's begin. Damn it! Frickin' slipped! And I got frickin' molested! Oh my god. Seriously, screw this goddamn game. All because of bad camera angles and bad movements overall. And that was just sheer panic. Alright, we can make up for lost time. I know we can. Let's see what we can do. Although it doesn't really help that we're down one energy tank before reaching Clanker. It really, really doesn't. Thank you. Thankfully, Gloop gives you 2 energy tanks upon grabbing one of his bubbles. So, that's pretty nice. Although I'm definitely going to need a little more air before we leave here. Thank you. Alright. Trust me, this is all part of the plan. Now that Clanker's been raised, we still have a little bit of work to do. And the reason why you need as much air as you can is because the next thing we're going to be doing is, while we're returning to the surface, we're going to pick up the blue Jinjo. And turning in the wrong direction definitely does not help things at all. And in fact, probably makes things even more stressful than they need to be. Thankfully, the extra air is definitely going to come in handy. It's going to be coming in handy right now. There we go. Nicely done. Okay. Now that that's done, we just gotta raise the water that's inside of Clanker's stomach region. I seriously don't understand how Banjo's even able to swim in here. In fact, why doesn't this hurt him? It should be like stomach acid. Granted, I know that Clanker swallows water, he is a garbage grinder and all, but even so, it still baffles my mind that that's even a thing. Okay, that was a pretty good time. I think the most ideal time to have remaining in that little minigame instance is about 20 seconds. The best I've done is 19 left on the clock. Yeah, I didn't think I was going to make the cycle. That's fine. Can still do this. Oh my god, the panic is real. Phew. Damn it! I can never make it to that pole and still manage to climb up. And there's another quote-unquote skip that you can perform. Even though it's not really a skip, it's more like a shortcut. If you manage to make the jump, then you can save yourself quite a bit of time. And you could start working your way around this whole level here. Without the need of having to go up on the fins so soon. Instead, you can just, save that for last. Grab it. In we go. Now, hopefully the cycles aren't completely screwed. Of course. Timing the button press and also being able to go through the whole saw blade section without taking damage is not necessarily the most difficult thing in the world, but it's definitely not an easy task. Because timing is incredibly strict. If you fail on that timing at any point, you might as well kiss your butt goodbye. And say goodbye to any time saves that you have for that whole section. Just saying. Alright. After we grab this purple Jinjo and make our way out of here, next thing we're going to do is start heading up the right-hand side of the level. As we completed the left-hand side not that long ago. I swear to God, if I somehow didn't make it to that pole, I would have flipped. Okay, there we are. That one is done. To be honest, I'm kind of surprised that I somehow couldn't use the rat-tap-rap there. Regardless, at least we're done with that whole section of the level. We just got this mutant crab section left. And then the end. Oh, this isn't good. Now, there is supposedly an optimal method of going through that whole section and killing all the crabs. If you manage to execute it, then you can make it to the spawn location of where this Jiggy normally spawns at, and grab it as it's spawning in, so that way you can pick it up and get moving that much faster. Of course, doing that is not exactly easy. And the timing of that is pretty dang strict. Plus, it can waste a whole bunch of eggs. Also, welcome back, Shawario DK. You're just in time for me finishing up this frickin' level. Although it doesn't help if I end up missing the dang pipe where the last honeycomb is located. I should have enough air to make it to the end. Yeah, I definitely should. Keyword is should. Granted, I did mess up quite a bit. Yeah, I should definitely make it. There we go. All done. All done with that. Okay. Now that that's done, time to get ready to open up Bubble Gloop Swamp. Of course, if you know how to do Reverse B Adventure, then there's really no need to open up that level whatsoever. No, seriously. The top runners who know how to do Reverse B Adventure save Bubble Gloop Swamp for last, and they essentially clip into the loading zone using the B transformation. I'm not kidding, that's what they do. Unfortunately, I still don't know how to execute it properly. And let me tell you, it can be pretty damn difficult. It can be really damn difficult to do. Oddly enough, there are two quote-unquote methods of executing Reverse B Adventure. It was first discovered on the PAL version of Banjo Kazooie, and many thought it was only possible on PAL, and it was like that for years. However, it was discovered that it is indeed possible to do it on NTSC. Oh my god, get up there! And the NTSC method is, at least one of the methods, is essentially the same as the PAL method, which is mashing the shit out of the A button while trying to activate the Cauldron Warp cutscene, while also trying to make it so you don't end up transforming back. Which, from what I've seen, is very, very difficult to do. And if the timing is wrong, and you end up activating the pot whilst you're transforming back, like just after you transform back into the bear and bird, then you have to essentially restart the entire playthrough in order to get another chance. So, that method for a long time was considered unviable due to its high difficulty. But some people still did it anyway. However, years later, it was discovered that a second method, which is supposedly far easier, is possible to execute Reverse B Adventure. It involves flying above the 765 note door and flying out of bounds that way. How did I miss? I don't get it. But anyway, as I was saying, basically people would use the 765 note door, so long as they haven't opened it yet, to get out of bounds and execute Reverse B Adventure that way. And from what I've seen, people have... Oh my god, why did my jump button stop working? Wow, I'm getting murdered by freaking frogs! Are you kidding me right now, game? All because it robbed me of my A presses. Great, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to grab all these damn notes in time. And again, maybe I will. that was no problem. At least that was nice and lenient. Oh, come on, game! You couldn't give me that extra little bit of distance? Okay. Now hopefully things will go better this time. With this frickin' switch. Of course not. Because camera decides to shit itself. And the panic is most definitely real here. Oh, fuck you! I'm surprised I didn't die there. Oh, that's annoying. I hate those tiny platforms. Those skinny, tiny-ass platforms so damn much. Thankfully, you can just reactivate the timer by ground pounding it again. Even so, though, it was still annoying that even happened in the first place. Of course, just one pixel off from getting the proper spawn location. Now, there is a trick here that you could pull off. However, I can't nail it for the life of me. It is known as the mud hut jump. On the first, second, and second to last hut here, you can skip having to bust down the huts and using the shock spring jumps. You can just jump from the very top of the hut and then proceed onward to the next platform. You can do this in the first, second, and also this one. However, I can't nail it for the life of me. I mean, I was able to nail it a couple of times, but I can't do it on a consistent basis. For whatever reason, it just seems like either I don't have enough momentum or most of the time, I don't have enough height. That seems to happen to me quite a lot. And that annoys me to no end. Like, why is it that I can't nail the frickin' height requirement? Even with a rat-tap-rap rubbing against the very edge of the frickin' thing, it does not give me the height required. I don't know how people can do it on a consistent basis. I mean, I know how it's supposed to be done. It's like you have to jump from the very center of the hut and then make it all the way across. But I can't do it for whatever reason. If I can, great. But like I mentioned, I can't do it consistently. That's why I don't even bother trying to do it. Me too. I'm a fan of that as well. Alright. exactly what I wanted to do. I do like the Banjo Kazooie jiggy dance as well, but in a speedrun setting, you want to avoid that dance as much as possible. Though most of the time, it isn't possible. Okay, let's do this. Red, yellow, light blue. Okay. Next, pink, red, purple, light blue, blue. Okay, so it's kind of like a bow tie. Neat. Okay, what? Seriously? Wow, game. Screw you. Alright, purple, light blue, red, yellow, red, light blue, blue. Let's see if I got it. Okay, apparently I don't have this right. There we go. Oops. Okay. God damn it. I hate it when I accidentally slip and fall. Especially when it seems like I shouldn't have, but I do anyway. It's definitely one of the worst feelings, especially when you're very high up and you're walking across very tiny platforms. Or very skinny ones too, for that matter. Okay, next task, here we come. That was close. And there goes 2 minutes. God damn it. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with that frickin' platform bridge lately. And I also don't know how people can master the controls so well, along with the camera, and get like the perfect camera angle and make it to and from that bridge without falling on their frickin' asses in the water. I honestly don't get it. But they play the game way more than me, so what can I say? How can I judge? Really. Also, this is intentional. Don't worry. Where is that? There you are. Anyway, the reason why I did that is That way, I have reduced my health a bit for when we finish up the Mr. Vile minigame, we'll be able to death more quickly. Though I've also seen people reduce their health down to 1 honeycomb energy. I don't feel comfortable sitting at that kind of level. And the reason as to why I give myself 3 units as opposed to just 1 is because if you happen to lose a minigame to Mr. Vile, he'll take 2 units of energy away from you. So what I like to do is have that little extra buffer room, so if I do end up losing a round to him, then I can try again about immediately. I can try again and also still be able to execute the Death War after I finish with Mr. Vile. Also, getting back to your comment, Shawario DK, I too love the music for this game. I'm definitely a very big fan. Really love the fact that David Wise composed this game's soundtrack, and Diddy Kong Racing for that matter too. He really does make really good music, especially for 3D platformers like this. Now anyway, the reason why you want to let Mr. Vile get like an 8-point lead in the first round is he becomes slower than a sloth after gaining such a huge lead on you. Many speedrunners employ that tactic of letting Mr. Vile get several points ahead of them, and then the speedrunners come back and score the win. It's a pretty common tactic that they employ. And while they're waiting, they go back to the entrance of this place and just grab as many of the collectibles as possible. And heck, they even grab a few extras that are just hanging around the arena, such as the gold feathers. I mean, okay. Maybe not gold feathers, but more so red feathers and eggs. Those will definitely come in real handy, especially if you're doing the non-traditional FFM method and the non-traditional FFM route. Another very big benefit of having the oh, what happens in the case of a tie? It still results in a loss. Mr. Vile will say, oh, I win, even though he technically didn't. It was a tie. Nobody won or lost. But for whatever reason, the game treats it as a loss to you. Don't know why that is, and he can't just say, oh, it appears that we're evenly matched. Let's go again and settle the score. I don't know why you can't just say that and then just repeat the round without the need of getting hurt. Seriously, the game just doesn't make a whole lot of sense sometimes, especially with its mechanics. Same sort of thing also applies to certain shine sprites in Super Mario Sunshine. Like if you run out of time, you die! Okay, where the hell are these things? Why are they not spawning anywhere near me? Okay, this is what I mean about getting a tie. You lose. Okay, come on, let's restart. Okay, so this is what I mean about having that extra buffer room. It's very easy to get very unlucky with the spawn logic of these critters here that you have to eat. Sometimes they just do not spawn anywhere near you and just start spawning in front of Mr. Vile, regardless of how far ahead or behind he is. And that is annoying as crap. So you essentially have to work with the RNG gods and pray. I don't know how he missed that one. I don't care. I'll gladly take it. Okay, this is basically over. I win. Much better. Another pretty big thing that is worth noting is at the very end of this whole Mr. Vile minigame, on Xbox, if you happen to get that extra dialogue box where Mr. Vile challenges you to one special game where you have to win 3 games in a row, and for each game you lose a life, and if you win a certain number of games or win all 3 games, you get 3 extra lives. On Xbox, since you can't skip through messages, you'll unfortunately lose like approximately 10 to 15 seconds due to the fact that you have to speed through that entire conversation just so that way you can just say no and refuse and run. Alright, we're done here. Bada bing bada booma. That's the end of Bubble Bloop, and now we're heading into Freezy Peak. Of course. Kinda hate it when people do that. Seriously, they just are walking around minding their own business and they're like, oh, hi there, I noticed that you're transforming from an animal to a bear and bird. Let me just go over here and give you a great big hug while you're transforming, just so that way you get a nice big smoocher right on the cheeks right after you're done. Oh yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Funny enough, that particular skip, if you know Reverse Bee Adventure, there's no need for it. You come back and grab that particular Jiggy as the bee. And another Jiggy that we're going to be grabbing coming up, you can also grab as the bee very easily without much of an issue whatsoever. If I can manage to speak English properly. Oh, hi. Didn't notice that you would end up spawning back here. Also, speaking of which, since RBA is a thing, there's really no need to hit that switch at all. So that saves several seconds right there. There's a lot of potential time saves that you can have with Reverse Bee Adventure. I just wish I knew how to do it. I mean, I have the idea of how it's supposed to be done. And I know how to essentially execute its method. It's just actually doing it is the difficult part. Funny enough, at the end of the last attempt of speedrunning this game, I tried to use that as an opportunity to try to execute Reverse Bee Adventure and try to practice using it. However, I still do not know how to execute said thing. I mean, I tried to look up a YouTube video on how to do it. And funny enough, I stumbled across the series of playlists for like the any % category of this game. And it pretty much went in depth on how you can execute Reverse Bee Adventure. But actually doing it is a lot more difficult than it needs to be. Especially considering since I don't have the practice ROM of the game. Well, technically I did just recently download it, but I don't know how to patch it in. Although I think they give you a pretty in-depth guide on how to patch it. But I can't patch it in with my current ROM of Banjo Kazooie that I have on my PC. I don't know why it doesn't work, but it just plain doesn't. Then again, maybe the ROM I have from one of the resources I've downloaded from previously, maybe that has the file already patched in. Who knows? I have no idea. Regardless, if I want to truly utilize a practice ROM, I'm going to need an EverDrive, which I do plan on getting something like that in the future. Just right now, I can't afford to get one. And even if I could, there are some other things I would like to get first. Ugh. Definitely the best time for a water break, that's for sure. Alright. Alright, let's get to work on this. Perfect. May not have been most well executed, but as long as I was able to do the alternate method of the Christmas tree quick task, I'm happy with it. Now, the reason why I brought that up is because some of you may not know what I'm talking about. Well, when it comes to doing that Christmas tree, there are two methods. Both of them are kind of the same as one another. However, each of them have a slightly different execution. The primary method is to flap twice, use two feathers, beak bomb, land on the tree, jump through the star once going forward, flutter jump backwards through the star again a second time, then upon going through the second time, you would ground pound and then start going in the opposite direction. Oh my god, really? So after you would do that, you would complete the Christmas tree really, really fast. However, the second method, which is one that I employ, is known as an alternate method. You basically go through the star once normally, and then after you pass through it the second time, that is when you do a ground pound and just go backwards. And that'll count. The second method is easier to execute, but it's debatably slower than the first method. Really, game? Really? You have to do that right now? Oh dear. Alright. At least I managed to get the second shot. This is too low. Yep. Crap. Oh well, might as well grab these while I have the chance. Jumping on this flight pad is very, very annoying. Most of the time you can just barely make it. Damn it! Alright. I'm surprised that even worked. Okay. Now, from what I've seen, most runners would go through the whole snowman section flawlessly. And afterwards, they would then do a big bomb into Mumbo's hut. The most ideal way of doing that is to land, is just to do the big bomb far enough away and high enough that you land in the tunnel and you're able to just slide right in after. Right after, shoot, what am I trying to say? Right after landing, that's it. Jeez. Can't believe I couldn't, can't believe I couldn't throw in the right words. Alright. Next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be challenging Boggy to his first race. Alright, let's do this. Damn it! Alrighty. Now, the most ideal way of doing this race efficiently is to grab as many items as you possibly can while still be able to catch up to Boggy before he goes too far off screen and he's like, this is too easy, I give up. Strangely, I just can't do this sort of thing as the Walrus. He just moves far too slow and Boggy moves too fast. Don't know why that is, but whatever. It's something that's really annoying, and it is something that many speedrunners have to deal with. Oh my god, are you serious? Wow. Okay. Well, for whatever reason, I just kept phasing through the damn note. I'm gonna have to make another frickin' pit stop rather than proceed onward to the next thing. At least right away. And again, if I end up losing here, that won't even matter. Okay. Man, that race was just crap. It honestly was just complete, utter crap. It could have most certainly gone better, that's for sure. Also, this particular dialogue box here with the Wuzza, you can't skip through that. You can only fast forward it, no matter what version of the game you're playing. Just figure I'd throw that out there. The reason why that is unknown. Why is it that you can skip through most dialogue boxes and just not that one is beyond me. But whatever. Again, these things happen. Okay. Now that we're done with the Walrus, we won't be needing it anymore for the rest of the level. At least until we have to do yet another run of this game, which I don't see that happening anytime soon. At least today, but we'll see. We'll definitely see. Okay. Next thing we're going to do now is grab the Jiggy on the very top of the snowman statue's hat. The reason as to why is, from what I've seen from top runners and what they do, this is how they optimize the level to its fullest. Other than not messing up the first boggy race, that is. But even so, I'm just saying. I still need some work when it comes to that. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about the green Jinjo yet. We're actually going to be grabbing him very, very soon. Okay, that works. That way I don't have to waste as many feathers. I lack depth perception! I'm surprised that did not kill me. I honestly am very, very surprised that that didn't kill me. Okay. Well, we may have fallen, but that doesn't mean that we are necessarily screwed. The most ideal way to have done that whole thing was to make it to the flight pad on the very top of the snowman, beak bomb off the side of the mountain, and then just flutter down and land on top of the igloo. But because I can't see where jack crap and the camera controls are aids, I couldn't see where I was, and I apparently have a problem with depth perception. Okay. Yeah, I need help, like, now. I was like, how much health do I have? After this race, we need at least 4 hits minimum. We need 4 hits minimum in order to do the final thing that we need to do here. And, like I mentioned, it's not going to be easy. On my way, thick boy! Oh god, I'm freaking out. Because camera. Are you serious, Boggy? You thick son of a bitch! Oh, hey yourself. There we go. Whew. Alright. Despite everything that has happened, that second race was probably the smoothest I've ever seen. Definitely happy about that and the way that turned out. Of course, we still have some work to do. And thankfully this last part is not very difficult at all. Just gotta grab this last Jinjo, this last Jiggy, and then get ready for a massive swim. And like I said, we need 4 hits minimum in order to get through here. There we go, made it. So, if you happen to enter the water like that in Talon Trot, you'll sink all the way to the very bottom, and if you continue to hold the analog stick where the hole is, you should be able to make it into the hole without much of an issue. However, if you happen to fail the method and you don't get enough distance somehow, then unfortunately, you're not going to be getting very much of anywhere. And you're basically stuck. You'll have to jump back out of the water and try again. The reason why you need 4 hits minimum is because that's the least number of hits that you need to take in order to complete the swim. If you happen to have more than 4 hits, like 5, then it's not a bad idea just to swim a little bit longer and reduce your health down to 1. Okay, when I say 5, I meant 6. You know what I meant. So basically, you need 5 units of energy in order to complete the swim fully. 6 is ideal, but 5 is the bare minimum. And no, the pun was not intended. I'm just saying. Okay. Oh, come on, game. Are you serious right now? Robbing me of my A presses and crap? Whatever. We'll be fine. We have lost a couple of seconds, but it's not that big of a deal, at least right now. Well, that wasn't very well executed. Oh well. That's fine. Funny enough, I never really went over how you're supposed to execute the deep dive method. Well, how deep dive works, it's a technique where you can dive much deeper into the water before you execute your underwater swimming animations and start consuming air. Basically, you want to be in Talon Trot, slide across the ground into the water while releasing all buttons as you're dismounting Talon Trot. If you did it right, you'll be in your dismounting animation and land in the water, and also dive incredibly deep. The deepness of the dives can vary based on how well you executed the method. If you execute it very well, then you'll dive incredibly deep. But if you don't execute it so well, then you're only going to go a little bit deeper. A little bit. So, not a big deal. Okay, let's see if we can do this, see if we can do this next thing here. This next thing is gonna be really damn difficult. Heck, I may not even be able to do it, but we'll see. This next thing is known as Gobi Clip. For a long time, it's believed that in order to get in there, you would have to beak barge on the certain index of this Sphinx here. However, recently it was discovered by Dickus Khan that there's another way of getting inside the Sphinx, and it involves getting into Talon Trot. Oh, come on. Are you serious? You're doing this to me now? That is one of 2 results. If you happen to, if you manage to beak barge in just the right way into the side of the Sphinx, you'll be able to clip inside. However, that is very inconsistent, and most of the time it doesn't work. Though it works a lot more often on emulator as well as Xbox for whatever reason. I don't know why it's easier to execute it that way on Xbox than it is on the N64. Don't know why that is. It's weird. Don't ask me. But regardless, it is something I wanted to mention anyway. Now, the Talon Trot method by Dickus Khan works a bit differently. How that works is you would go into Talon Trot after hitting the sand. After receiving damage from the sand snakes and whatnot. Oh my god, are you serious? There we go. Jesus. That was annoying. Okay. So basically what I'm trying to say is the Dickus Khan method of talon trotting into the Sphinx is supposedly more consistent than the Beak Barge method. However, when I went to actually practice that method, I found it to be more inconsistent than the previous one. Though, maybe that's just me and my rotten luck. Maybe there's something I'm doing wrong with that method, but for whatever reason, I just can't get it to work that way. I've only got it to work on, like, the very first time I've ever done the attempt. Any other time I went to actually try to practice it, it just refused to work. And, as you've seen, if you do either one of those methods, either the Beak Barge or Talon Trot, then one of two results will happen. Either you successfully manage to clip inside the Sphinx, or you end up getting teleported to the left-hand side in the corner. And thus, you're still in bounds. You're not inside. Which is really, really dumb. Okay. Well, that was unfortunate. I was hoping to have maybe been able to land on the sand and go into Talon Trot quickly, so that way I can ascend that particular hill. But no, of course not. Because the game just absolutely loves me. That's why. No. I just didn't think that the... You know what, I just wasn't thinking flat out. Let's just say that. Okay. Time to get to work on this. Okay, that's egg. I can never remember if it was that one or the one in the very corner. Damn it. Oh, screw you, you stupid mummy. Phew. Okay, at least we were able to successfully grab the dang Jiggy. Definitely happy about that. Alright. I am slowly yet surely memorizing all the different tiles of that particular flip switch puzzle. It's a slow and steady process. But thankfully the tiles are easy to remember for the most part, as they're always the same in every playthrough. It's always the same solution. They're not randomized, which is something to be very thankful about. That's for sure. Oh, god damn it. Oh man, what a waste of eggs, man. Speaking of Eggman, there's a pretty funny meme going around how, in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie trailer, people are saying that Jim Carrey, who is, playing the role of Dr. Eggman, aka Dr. Robotnik, he's going to carry the whole movie. Oh dear. Yeah, I knew that was gonna crap out. Dang it. What I was trying to do there was Beak Bomb into the rock. That way, I could avoid any sort of shock damage, or avoid having to bounce back off of the rock. But of course, that's a lot easier said than done. There we are. Now, the reason why I did this particular jiggy now as opposed to waiting is, though many speedrunners I've seen save that particular jiggy for the end, and I've even managed to grab that jiggy via their method a couple of times, I've not been able to really do it myself lately. I mean, it seems simple enough. You just have to line yourself up a certain way, Beak Bomb into Grabba's hand, grab the jiggy, and continue flying. However, the method of setting that up is kind of difficult, but even so. Whew, just made it. Sweet. Okay. Honestly, it's not a bad idea to collect as many eggs and feathers as you can in this room. That way you can get a nice refill on everything that you used up to this point. Felt like I had a freaking snot bubble stuck in the back of my throat. I know that was kind of disgusting, I apologize. But regardless, I felt like bringing it up anyway. Alright, next thing we're going to be doing now is this maze. And there's also a pretty big skip I'm going to try to do here. Hopefully this will work. Of course, I would fall. Because cameras! What is that? Fuck it. I'm further into the maze, it's all that matters. Anyway, what I was trying to do there, it's known as maze skip. As the name implies, you jump on the very top of the maze from a certain incline on one of the first parts of the wall in the room, and jump on top of the maze and run all the way across. However, actually doing it, actually executing the skip, is not very easy to do. It took a ton of practice, but eventually I was able to do it myself. Though, getting on top of the maze is not exactly the hard part. The hard part, in my honest opinion, is staying on top of the maze. If you don't have the correct camera angle, then it's not exactly easy to get the correct camera angle. And if you happen to fall off of the maze, or fall back into the maze at an earlier point, you can either go back and try again, or another thing you can do instead is just proceed onward further into the maze. I did not mean to talk to frickin' Trunker here. Damn. There goes several seconds. Oh well, not a big deal. Thankfully, Trunker's message and dialogue box you can skip. Don't rob me of my A-press now. Oh, there we go. Alright, that worked. We only got one more thing left to do here. Well, technically two more things, but regardless. Oh my god, how did they miss? I don't even. Oh, we do this. Oh my god, get on the snake! Phew, that was far too close. Oh man. I honestly can't believe I managed to pull that off. But regardless, it happened. Anyway, the most ideal way of going through that room is to, after setting in all the eggs required, you would then go around the room as quickly as you can as the dialogue box is going off. And you would then immediately start collecting everything that's in the room just before the snake starts rising up, or just as it starts rising up. And while you're doing that, you would then jump back onto the snake and just finish up the level. Or just finish up the whole section, jump on it, grab the jiggy, and just get out of there. Simple as that. Okay. Alright, now that that level is finally done, despite the fact that we really sailed on that level quite hard, here's hoping Mad Monster Mansion will go better. Mad Monster, this level right here can be a bit of a pain in the ass. That is our next stop. And this is the reason why we opened up Mad Monster Mansion earlier before heading into Gobi's Valley. That way, upon completing Gobi's Valley, we can just proceed onward to Mad Monster immediately after. And we don't have to do any sort of roundabout method of just trying to get there. Again, why does the game feel like robbing me of my A presses? I would miss. There we go, that works. Now, the reason why this level can be a bit of a pain in the butt is the routing that you're expected to take in a speedrun setting is, well, it's not exactly problematic per se, but it can be kind of a pain, especially if you don't nail it 100% correctly. As missing one note or one important collectible can mean the difference between losing several minutes or being able to proceed. Just saying. That's not fun. Okay. What am I doing? Didn't need to do that. Oh well. Oh my god. Grab the damn thank you. That's funny. Anyway. Let's continue now, shall we? Oddly enough, when trying to traverse over the rooftops of the mansion here, the game gets really laggy. And frames just drop to like single digits. Why that is? Probably due to the amount of level that it has to load in all at once. Plus the additional fog effect that's applied to the level, aka particle effects. Pushing the N64 hardware a bit too hard, maybe? Who knows? What am I doing? Right, okay. The maze is our next stop. The reason why we're in here in the first place is there are several collectibles in here that are worth collecting. Heck, some of them are actually required. Those being the Jinjo in here, as well as several notes in different parts of the maze. Most of the notes here are scattered throughout. There are like 2 places where there are like a set of 2 notes in here, but it's not like you'll find it very often. Also, yeah, that was an intentional skip. you kidding me? Thankfully, I was able to get that back. Still, though. Are you serious? Wow. Seriously, screwed the game in the frickin' egg bouncing mechanic. Are you serious? That was in. Gotta hate that about these pots. The targeting acquisition of those pots are so specific. If you're off by a single pixel, it just bounces right out of the pot, which is so freaking annoying. Oh, okay. Well, that was unfortunate. At least I was able to save that. Whew. Okay. Next. Next thing we're going to be doing over here is we're getting ready to head to the next part. The next part is not going to be Mumbo's hut right now. Instead, we're saving that for just a little bit later. I'm definitely going to be needing some eggs here, that's for sure. Now then, our next task is pretty simple. We just have to complete this ice skating room, as I like to call it. Oh, damn it. I figured he was going to do that, too. I'm surprised that slid on. I win. Excellent. Well, despite a couple of little hiccups in this room, it went surprisingly smooth. I can honestly say that it really did. Oh crap, this is gonna hurt. Okay. It's possible to skip the Jiggy Dance animation here with that particular Jinjo. However, it's pretty difficult to pull off, and it's one of the most difficult skips in the entire game. But if you can manage to pull it off and just land in the water after grabbing the Jiggy, that'll save you a few seconds. I think about 4 seconds total? Not too sure. But regardless, it does save you quite a bit of time. There we go. Into the church we go. The first thing we're going to be doing here is we're going to be grabbing 2 of the notes off of these benches. There are 4 benches in this church in all, and each bench has one note. The reason why I'm saving half of them for later is because upon finishing this whole church thing, we'll be grabbing the notes on our way out anyway, so figure I might as well. But first, before we can do anything else here, we still have to do this Moat's Hand Simon Says game. It's a very simple minigame. Just follow Moat's hand around and just pound on the keys of which he presses down. Although, isn't Moat's hand a ghost? Shouldn't things like this just phase right through him? How is it that he's able to make physical contact with anything, especially keys on this organ? It just doesn't make any sort of sense. Video game logic at its finest. Though we've had even more fine examples of video game logic, still though, it kind of boggles my mind how that's even a thing. Now then, speaking of which, it's possible to memorize each and every key of which Moat's hand presses, and for every playthrough you do, the keys that he presses down are the same every time. So, what players employ is keeping all the keys that Moat's hand presses down in memory. So, if they're able to get through it fast enough, they can press down every single key and just complete the minigame faster. However, there's a lot of keys to memorize, and there are 2 variations. Or 2 rounds, rather. And you have to complete both rounds. However, if you happen to mess up or go too fast... Oh my god, are you serious? As I was saying, if you go too fast, the key pressed down, even though it's considered correct, it'll register as wrong. I don't know why that is. But whatever. It is something that I feel like mentioning. Okay. Kind of unfortunate I missed the egg there, but it's fine. We can always grab more if we need to. Okay, and with that, church is done. Alright. Now comes the last part of the whole frickin' level. The pumpkin! Time to grab the pumpkin transformation and get ready for some fun. And thank God I didn't get a washing machine transformation or T-Rex transformation. At least not yet. Still possible to get either one of those things. That would be annoying as crap. Trust me. Okay. Alright, next thing we're going to be doing now is... Remember these windows of which we broke earlier? Well, we can only collect the more important collectibles as the pumpkin. We could have technically gone in here earlier as the bear and bird, but we wouldn't have been able to do much of anything with them. So, that is something worth mentioning. Seriously? Okay. I figured that he would, indeed, flush you right away upon landing in the toilet bowl. I guess not. Guess I was mistaken. you have to initiate the conversation first. I didn't think you'd have to, but whatever. Alright, almost done. We just have a few more things to pick up, and then we'll be getting ready to death warp out of here. It's not a bad idea to collect some of these collectibles here, especially eggs, considering how low I am on them. I got plenty of red feathers, but eggs, I still need lots of them. Also, these platforms suck. Due to their indentation and the way they are facing, it's very easy to rub up against the underside of them when you're trying to jump on top of the platform. Get in there. Thank you. Jesus. Alright, there we go. We're done. That, my friends, is Mad Monster Mansion. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. Now then, there's one more thing we have to do before we can start going after the Witch Switch Jiggies, which I forgot to grab last time. I made it to this point. But regardless. I should be able to remember them all now. That's for sure. Okay. That reset is intentional, because believe it or not, it's faster to just hit reset on the N64 than it is to save and quit, and then reload your save file that way. The reason as to why is, since this is technically a new save file, it hasn't seen the game over cutscene before, so that's technically the first time it's seeing it. And so you have to sit through the entire thing before you can proceed and just quit out of the game. However, on Xbox, that's not the case. So long as you've seen it once on any save file, regardless of the save files actually being there or not, so long as you've seen it, you can actually just skip right through it. So, TLDR, it's faster to hit reset on N64, whilst on Xbox, it's faster to save and quit. It's kind of weird, I know, but it's true. Trust me. Okay, let's get to work. Time for the 2 Witch Switch Jiggies that are in this room. The first one we're going to be grabbing is the one for Mad Monster. Afterwards, we just got the one here in Freezy Peak, which technically you don't even need to hit the Witch Switch for. I'll explain why if I can manage to pull it off. If I don't screw this up, though. That definitely doesn't help things at all. Oh my god, how did I miss? Okay. Don't you just love it when the environment just blends in within itself? I know I do. Said no one ever. Okay. that one. Now we just have one more to grab. Got it. Okay. So, what went on there was that witch switch jiggy, you technically don't even need to hit the witch switch for. If you hit a certain spot within the wall, you can grab the jiggy by extending Kazooie's neck via the beak bomb. If you manage to pull that off, the neck can stretch out long enough to touch the jiggy and it will be considered collected. So that is awesome. That saves you several minutes of having to hit the witch switch in Freeze's Peak. Oh my god, seriously? Get up there. Why am I not getting enough momentum there? This is actually faster than doing it the intended way. But for whatever reason, it's not letting me through. See what I mean? It just takes a few tries, sometimes. But anyway, back to what I was saying. You just do the beak bomb on a certain part of the indent of the wall and the door itself, extend Kazooie's neck, grab the jiggy, and you can just be on your merry way. No problem. Like nothing ever happened. So, you didn't really miss much. We finished up Mad Monster Mansion at a pretty dang good pace. I also explained the reason why players hit reset on the N64 version of Banjo Kazooie as opposed to doing the whole save and quit thing. Not only that, but I've also picked up the Witch Switch layer jiggies for Mad Monster Mansion and Freeze's Peak. And I also just got done explaining how the Witch Switch jiggy for Freeze's Peak technically does not need to be pressed at all. And how you can just simply grab the jiggy and go. Go on your merry way. I'm surprised that even worked. Grab a note. Now it's time for Rusty Bucket Bay. This frickin' level sucks. No matter if you're a casual or a speedrunner, this is the worst level in the entire game. And the reason why this is so bad is because of this room right here. Okay, this is going to require a ton of concentration, so please excuse the amount of silence so long as I can get through this room in one piece. Although it's going to be a lot easier said than done, that's for sure. Works. Yeah, that is true, yet we're able to walk on them anyway. Because video game logic. It's the kind of logic that just throws regular logic out the window. Okay. surprised that even worked. Yeah. Video game logic, my favorite. Okay. Time for some DK64 action. Any second now. Any second. Trust me, this method actually works. I don't know why it's being really picky right now. You're supposed to be able to rub up against this wall and eventually you'll phase right through. See? Was that so hard, Banjo? I don't know why that works, and it works on all versions of the game, including Xbox. Which is really, really weird, but awesome at the same time. Should still have plenty of time to pull this off. Okay, just made it. Dang it. Supposedly there's a method where if you manage to make it across there in Talon Trot and jump a certain way, you'll be able to make it across without the need of jumping back into the water. So, if you manage to pull it off, it'll save you about a couple of seconds. Which, if you're going for world record, that can mean the difference between getting it and just barely missing it. Okay. Well, that definitely wasn't very ideal, but it works. As long as you manage to grab the Jiggy and leave, that's all that really matters. Along with not fighting Boss Boombox. That's another big factor too, just saying. Okay, is it me or was that troll just not there when I first entered the room? It only just appeared now. What the hell was up with that? Whatever, I'll take it. Even so though, it was still really weird. Perhaps I ran so fast that the game hasn't loaded in the troll yet? Regardless, I'll take it. Okay. We're almost done in this part of the level. We still have a little bit of work left to do. Just got a few notes to grab in here. And some bullshit to avoid, hopefully. There we go. Oopsie. That's better. Okay, next thing we're going to do here is grab the frickin' Jiggy in the cage. Which, that in itself is very easy. Believe it or not, what I'm doing right now is the intended method. There's technically a slightly faster way of doing that. But it's pretty damn difficult to pull off. But if you can manage to do it, then you'll save yourself a few seconds. The other method I'm talking about with the cage is you essentially jump from the switch's location to a lifeboat on the ship. And if you manage to make it to the lifeboat, you can just jump onto the ship and grab the Jiggy that way. But like I said, that's a lot easier said than done. Okay. Oops. Excellent, that one is done. Thankfully, the code for that whistle puzzle is always the same for every playthrough. It's 312111. Though, for whatever reason, sometimes that code confuses me, and I end up swapping digits around. Like, I think it's 213111, but in actuality, it's 312111. Not the former. Just saying. Alright, 7 out of 10. We're almost done here. Oops. Didn't quite mean to do that. Oh well, that's fine. Can still work with it. Funny enough, if you fall into the acid while in Talon Trot, you'll deep dive to the very bottom of the acid pool. There's really no reason to even deep dive as far down as that, so it's something I feel like pointing out anyway. Okay. Alright. Only one thing left to do. One major thing left. That is free Snorkel, grab the Jiggy in the last Jinjo, and be on our merry way. after, of course, we do all those things and then grab the last honeycomb piece, of course. Oh, hi. How you doing? Didn't expect to see you buttholes here. Get out of my way! Ass hacks. Okay. Done and done. Whew. Funny enough, this Jiggy, for whatever reason, sometimes I end up forgetting about this one. Because it's so far out of the way, and it's not directly in your line of sight after leaving. After leaving that anchor spot. Funny enough, doing that skips the Jiggy dance animation. However, you have to hold forward at the right point. Otherwise, you'll still grab the Jiggy and do the dance, which is something you definitely don't want to do. Otherwise, you lose about 8 seconds for not only the initial dance, but the final dance for collecting all the Jiggies in that world. Just saying. Okay, why did I only take one hit there? Alright, let's get ready to warp out of here. Excellent. Exactly what I wanted to do. Alright! We're on a really damn good pace. I'm definitely liking this. So far, so good. Very happy to see the progress we've made up until this point. Of course, we still have Click Clock Wood left to go. And after that, it will be time for Furnace Fun, which, believe it or not, we can skip at least most of it. And I'm definitely happy about that. Okay. Oh, come on. Are you serious, game? Are you serious? Freaking double tapped by a freaking tentacle. Okay. Me too, man. Things are looking good so far. And I'm definitely happy about that. That's for sure. Now here's hoping things actually work out. Fingers crossed. I know I can do this. It's just one last world, and then finally the quiz show of death. Boy. Alright. Now, normally, out of all the runs I've done, there's a Mumbo token I'd normally grab that's over here by the tree. But since I'm at 24 Mumbo tokens, there's no need to grab it. Instead, I'm gonna wait until I can grab another one later on in Click Clock Wood. And that's the last one I need in order to grab the final transformation, which is the bee. It's the bee. Don't make a movie out of it. Okay. I'm grabbing that gold feather. I don't care if it costs me a second. I don't care. Even though I said that twice in the same sentence. Whatever. Onward to Click-Clock Wood. The last main level of the game. I don't like the fact that I don't have full health, but we'll roll with it. And no, that was not a pun. Just saying. Okay, here we go. Excellent. That's the last Mumbo token we'll need for the remainder of the run. I'm dead serious, too. The last transformation just requires 25 Mumbo tokens, which is the most amount of Mumbo tokens you need in the whole game. But regardless... At least it's something. Yeah, I love this level too. It's one of my favorites in the whole game. And my favorite variation of this level is definitely Spring. Solely due to the music being the most lively and bouncy, if you know what I mean. It just sounds so damn good. So catchy. I freaking love it. Oh, god damn it. Well, that's definitely not good. Slipped and fell. There goes like 10 to 15 seconds. Oh well. Again, we can make up for lost time. I know we can. Even though it's very late into the run, we can still make up. Besides, there's additional opportunities for us to get more health if we need it. I've seen people traverse the tree via Talon Trot, and I can do that too. But the reason why I didn't do it there was because I'm on such a good pace and I don't want to mess up any more than I already have. Maxed out on feathers, so I'm definitely happy about that. Okay, and with that, that's Spring. At least for now. We still got we're still gonna be coming back here later, after we're finished with all the other seasons here. Another thing worth pointing out too is I've seen runners set up splits for each of the individual seasons while they're traversing through Click-Clock Wood. It may not be a bad idea to set something like that up for myself, but honestly, I think I'm just happy with just the single split, at least for now. Oh my god, freaking leaves. They have the same sort of properties as the strangely shaped platforms in Mad Monster Mansion's well area. It's the same sort of properties, meaning their hit detection is really, really spotty. Like, sometimes it'll work, and sometimes it doesn't. It really depends on what the game feels like doing that day. It's not, like, so bad that you'll just phase right through unless you're dead center. No, it's more like you'll rub up against the underside more often than you should. Let's be real here. At least it's nothing like, say, The Wizard of Oz on SNES. Not that I've actually played the game. I've seen it covered through, the Angry Video Game Nerd. And let me tell you, that doesn't look fun. That is for sure. Funny enough, another thing I've noticed too, with the top runners of this game, they find a way to glitch themselves out of balance and fall into the void during the spring portion, like at the very end or something? Or something to that extent? I'm not too sure. It just doesn't seem to be that viable to me. Especially considering the way I handle Click Clock Wood. It's just not useful for me at all in the slightest. Plus, executing it is rather difficult, too. Oh my god, are you serious right now, game? Okay. Oh crap. It's fine. We may have lost about a couple of seconds, but that's okay. We can just make it up later. How many gold feathers? 4. Well, crap. This is definitely not going to be pleasant. Oh, damn. Okay, hopefully I'll be able to make these count. Although, considering when I started that, it's not looking like it. Okay, never mind. I had just barely enough. Now we need to collect up to 4 frickin' gold feathers before we can before we reach fall. Or at least until we reach that point. Regardless, we got some work to do. And some gold feathers to collect. And the reason why we need so many gold feathers is because in fall, there's some notes that are located inside some of the fetus fly traps. Also, I'm saving that Jiggy for fall. The reason why, as I'm doing that, is in fall, it's easiest to grab it then. Because the floors during fall are all boarded up. It's fully complete, and you don't have to worry about making some long jump and pray that you make it across and your controller isn't completely busted. Just saying. Here you go, Eerie. Time for a frickin' snack. Okay. And with that, we're done with summer. I know I grabbed one extra worm, but that extra worm will definitely come in handy for fall. That's for sure. Oh my god, camera. Don't you just love it when the camera gets stuck on the scenery above the level and you're like way down below? Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Said no one ever. Okay. Alright, time for fall. This season has the most notes in them. Yeah, I'll just do that. That way I can save the last two for the next Fetus Flytrap. Here we are. Okay. Next thing we're going to do now is, of course, not get stuck here. Rather, have the camera go and have a seizure. Okay. Okay, as I was trying to say, just had to grab the Jiggy from the beaver's house, as well as the two notes that were on the top shelf. After that's done, we can just head on out. Or at least head out of his house and proceed onward. How did that miss? Whatever. You want to know something funny? It's possible to grow the last part of the flower in spring. However, if you do that, the camera becomes stuck and you're almost soft locked. So basically what you have to do from there is navigate until you reach Mumbo's hut, and you have to do it blind. Okay, what was that shit? Again? Oh. Okay, that'll work. Okay, what? Why did I just start sliding down? That was weird. Okay, that works. The most ideal way of doing that is being able to land on all three notes during the drop. And if you manage to pull it off and still land inside the Fetus Flytrap, you won't have to worry about having to jump back in to grab the notes you missed. Oh my god, I can't see. There we go. Jeez. I don't know why I couldn't see the freaking exit. Everything just blended in together for some reason. Could be the sunlight? Who knows? Speaking of sun, I know I'm glowing like a freaking Christmas tree right now, but that's just due to the power of the sun. Because it shines so bright through my window, there's not exactly much I can do. Even if I would close the curtains, it still wouldn't help very much. Okay, now then, there's still a couple of things left to do in here. First off, just gotta grab a couple of notes, the caterpillar that's in here, and after that, just hop out and be on our merry way. There's really not much of a reason to stay in there. And yeah, unfortunately, we do have to lose some progress as far as climbing up the tree is concerned. Damn it. I was hoping maybe I would have just barely been able to, not take fall damage. I guess I should have jumped off instead. Towards the hill. Who knows? Regardless, what's done is done. And thankfully there's plenty of health pickups on the way back up the tree anyway. Okay. We're almost done with fall. We just got this asshole from Assholevania, and also the nut collecting. It's more acorns than nuts, but even so. Same sort of thing. But not really. Regardless. We have these things to pick up. There's 6 of them scattered throughout this small little area here. And for the best results, you want to try to avoid talking to the squirrel until the very end. One thing that's definitely worth noting is that this particular task is very infamous because the nuts or the acorns themselves have a very, very small hitbox. It's smaller than their character models. Why is this? Is beyond me. It wasn't even fixed in the Xbox Live Arcade version, which is rather sad. Oh my god, get on the table! Okay. Okay. Anyway, the reason why you want to wait to talk to the squirrel until the very end is because the dialogue you can skip through with the button combination on N64, but on Xbox you have to sit through it for about 15 seconds. That works. Seriously, I hate that set of jumps. The most nerve-wracking because those birds can easily throw you off. And considering how high up we are, that can kill you. Alright. Here you go, Eerie. Eat up, buddy. Winter is coming indeed. Coming up very, very soon, actually. And I feel like I gotta frickin' pee. Why do I have to have this feeling during a run? Especially when it's one as good as this. No clue. Alright. And with that, we are done with fall, folks. Next stop is winter. Time to head into the winter wonderland. Thankfully, there's not a whole lot left there in that particular portion of Click Clock Wood. But even so, there's still quite a bit of things to do here. First off, the Blue Jinjo, and also the notes. And also, like, a couple of other things here, too. Whew, okay. Funny enough, if you skip that dialogue box with Eerie as it's pooping out the Jiggy for you, believe it or not, it'll have a second dialogue box. And I think that dialogue box is the same as the first. So that is something that's worth mentioning. Okay. Okay. Just got a few more things left to collect here. Thankfully, they're not too far apart from each other. Some of these things are the notes that are over here. Thankfully, the snowman won't bother you so long as you're within the close proximity. But you still have to worry about Mr. Robin Hood here. And also this. Well, damn. Somehow I got robbed of my height. Also, why didn't that break there? Come on! Break, damn you! Okay, fuck it. Oh, shit. Well, damn. I'm dead. I'm dead. Whew. Okay. I managed to save myself somehow. How did that not result in fall damage? I will never know. But I'll gladly take it. Still sucks, though. Okay. Guess we're doing this the old-fashioned way, then. Damn it. The most ideal way of getting through that whole section is not by doing what I just did, but rather beak bombing into the hole. If you manage to break the glass that way, you can just bounce right off of the glass from the recoil and just fly back into the hole. And sometimes, like I was demonstrating there, it does not work unless you're dead center. I don't know why it has to be so dang picky. Okay. There, I thought I was going to begin sliding right away. That's why I didn't go into Talon Trot and instead just jump off the roof. Sometimes it's better to be safe rather than sorry. Especially when you're so high up and you have so little health. Alright. Here we go, folks. That's the... Oh, cool. God. Okay, I'm missing 4 notes. I'm trying to figure out where did I miss them. Are they here in winter? Yes. Yes, they are. They're actually over here. I know killing that snowman was not necessary, but the reason why I did it is so that way he doesn't snipe me when I do that instead. Dang it, man. See how easy it is to slip off of here if you're completely careless like me? Alright. Only one more thing left to do here, other than completing the rest of spring. And that is making 2 more swims. One's through here to the beaver's house once more. That way we can, oh my god, get out. That works. At least the good news with that is you get a nice free health refill. Even though it doesn't extend your life anymore, after collecting every single honeycomb in the game, it's still nice to have a free health refill. I'm definitely happy about that, that's for sure. Alright. And with that, winter is done. I was honestly thinking, like, what the hell did I miss? And thankfully, I was able to remember within a timely fashion. Still, though, that was kind of scary. Definitely did not want to forget about notes, especially at a time like this. Okay. I almost left the level like an idiot. That would have been bad. Okay. That works. Okay. Now then, it's time to complete the last things we need to do. Just got a few more things left. One of them is grabbing the last major Jiggy that's sitting out in the open, and also this green Jinjo here. And you may be wondering, where the hell is the purple Jinjo? Well, we're about to grab him very, very soon. After we grab the purple Jinjo and the last Jiggy, we'll be done. And we can just simply void out very easily within the beehive here. I know it seems kind of weird, but it's true. Oh, damn it. I thought I grabbed this. Guess not. See how easy it was to void out? Although sometimes that can be kind of picky with whether or not it'll let you out. Come on, drop. Thank you. Alright. Now that that's done, it's time for Furnace Fun. Here we go. And this is when the fun will truly begin. And the reason I say this is because this is the point now where I am going to try to show off the newly discovered skip that was most recently discovered like about a month ago, believe it or not. This is known as Ninpalk Skip. So how this works is you have to slide in between two separate tiles, but I'll get into that later. That was just a guess. That is... Okay. I wasn't so sure. That was a guess too. Couldn't remember if it was 4 or 5. That is... that one? I really do feel like I got pee, but I want to do this first. Carpets in the Sphinx. Okay. Here we go. Time for the skip. Excellent, I got it! That is Ninpalk Skip! Basically, if you slide in between two separate tiles between the Joker Square and the Death Square, and go into Talon Trot, and answer a question on the Death Square, you can essentially skip Furnace Fun in as little as 5 spaces. That saves like 2 minutes! I swear to God, I am not kidding. It saves 2 minutes if you manage to pull it off on the first Death Square. Yeah, it's that insane. And when I first heard of this happening, I was amazed too. But yeah, there is a bit of a caveat on this though. And that is, if you get a visual question, then unfortunately the skip is not going to work. Instead, it'll just revert you out of Talon Trot and back into your default state. So that is something you need to keep in mind. If you end up getting a visual question, then pray to God you can make it to the next Death Square and be able to pull it off again. Thankfully, this skip can be done on any Death Square, and not just the first one you see, though the first one is the most ideal. Regardless, here we go. Let's get this started. Final battle! Okay. Okay, that works. May not have been ideal, but it's fine. Ah, you bitch! Ah, I hate that. All because I missed the first burst. Damn it. It's fine, we can try again. Thankfully, it wasn't that far in. We can still do this. We can still get a PB. Alright, here we go again. That works. Seriously? Wow, how did I miss that whole burst? All because the camera can't be set behind me. Son of a... Okay, note to self. Fire one burst and one burst only. Ah, Christ! Why now? Shut up. Okay. That works. I seriously can't rotate the camera any further. Okay, that's better. Okay, time for the second phase. And of course I missed the first hit. Okay, let's take it easy, take our time. Oh yeah! Okay, I thought I was too low. Whew! Headshot! Sweet. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh my god, that was too close. I thought I was going to crash and die. Got it. Okay, I thought she was done, but guess not. Oh, you bitch! Ah, you... Oh, you... This isn't good. This is not good. Done? Yes. Okay. Of course, it failed the cutscene skip. Plus, I was not in the proper position anyway. Dang it! Okay. At least that particular cutscene saved me from getting hit again. Oh, damn it! Of course, that was out of range. Come on, baby, just a little more. Damn it! Of course I got hit. Just wasn't sure where the first fireball was gonna go. Man, doing this in 3 hits. It's not gonna be easy. Come on, baby. We can just barely make PB. Oh, no. I don't care if this is slow. I'm doing this as safe as possible. Time! 2:54:44. After almost 2 months, like a month and a half of playing this goddamn game on N64, finally, I have a PB for this frickin' game on this category. Oh, man. Thanks, man. Oh, my God. I'm so frickin' happy. Of course, this isn't going to be placing very high on the N64 category of the leaderboards, but it's not like I care right now. I'm just happy I managed to frickin' PB this frickin' game. Thank you. Thank you for the congratulations. Oh my God. That was intense as frick. I'm honestly surprised I even managed to pull it off. Especially considering I messed up so frickin' much during this whole frickin' battle. Oh man. Well, I am aware that I still need to do some optimizations when it comes to playing through the whole game. Especially the grunted fight, I still need some work on that. But I'm still happy with the way it turned out. Even though it took me like 4 attempts. Plus the flying phase took quite a bit of time, and the second phase of the fight was also very, very hectic, to say the least. Oh, man. Man. Let me tell you, this was definitely one hell of an adventure. At 3 hours, 35 minutes, 42 seconds now. Jesus flip. Oh, man. So frickin' happy it's over. Now then, while you guys sit here and enjoy the credit sequence, I'm going to go and take a pee. A well-deserved one, too, so I'll be back momentarily. Okay, I'm back. Man, I've been holding that in for far too long. But, yeah. I'm very, very happy that I managed to finally PB after all this time. Though it was like about less than a minute than my previous PB of 2:55:20, I'm still happy with the fact that I even managed to lower the time as much as I have. I honestly am. Even after failing Bottle Skip and also failing some other things, at least I was able to nail the new Ninpalk Skip relatively quickly. The most ideal way of doing it is sliding just enough, go into Talon Trot, activate the death square on your first attempt. Though that can be kind of finicky considering the lag and the execution. Funny enough, this Ninpalk Skip, like I mentioned, it was recently discovered about a month ago. And I guess I'll go ahead and take the time and explain how this is supposed to work. So, this trick was discovered by Ninpalk, hence the name Ninpalk Skip. And I've seen it demonstrated on a speedrun done by Dickus Khan. He managed to get the second place position, almost getting world record too. He managed to get second place and show off the new trick. So that is freaking awesome. And with the new trick implemented, the world record holder was able to retake his spot in the top of the leaderboards, and now the game can be beaten in under 2 hours. I'm serious. It's like a 1:59 something. It's that freaking fast. Of course, I still need to do a lot of optimizations and also learning of certain tricks before I can even come close to that kind of mark. But even so, with the knowledge I do have, I am happy that I managed to make it as far as I have. I honestly am very happy with the results. But anyway, getting back to the Ninpalk Skip trick. You basically go through Furnace Fun and you just answer 5 questions minimum. That is the minimum. And once you reach the indentation or the spacing between the first death square you see and the Joker square, you can use that opportunity to just essentially do like a sort of walking animation, slide, and with that momentum, slide in the cracks in between the board itself and the space you need to land on. With enough momentum, or with just the right amount of momentum, really, if you manage to get in between the 2 spaces, execute Talon Trot, as soon as you execute it, you should then be able to activate the death square. You gotta be fast, though. You really have to be fast. If you manage to go into Talon Trot but not activate the death square, you have to get out of Talon Trot before you can answer the question. Because even if you enter the board in Talon Trot, it's not going to allow you to answer any questions whatsoever. So how this is supposed to work is, since you're technically sliding in between the 2 spaces, you're able to activate the move in most circumstances as you're traversing through the board. Normally, that is not possible. But hey, I'm just saying, it's a thing. So, the caveat for this is, like I mentioned earlier, if you happen to get a visual question on the death square, then unfortunately the trick is not going to work. What will happen is, it'll show the visual and it'll also give you the choice of questions like normal. However, upon finishing the question, whether you answer correct or incorrect, it will knock you out of Talon Trot. It'll knock you out of Talon Trot before you even answer the question. Because the game is kind of changing states of visualization and whatnot. So you basically have to pray you get any other question category, any other, besides grunty. If you get a grunty question, there's like a 33% chance you may end up getting it right, which is not something you want to do. You just have to mash through and select the answer and pray that is the incorrect answer. That way you can perform the skip. So, if the skip fails on the first death square, there is a backup strat. And that is just proceed through the rest of the board until you reach the next death square, which is on the left-hand side. And then just try to perform the skip again. Just slide in between the space before the death square and the death square itself. And if you manage to go into Talon Trot, activate the death square, and start answering the question, you should still be able to perform the skip without much of a problem. Again, this loses a little bit of time, but thankfully, it's not the end of the world. Though if you're on world record pace, then it probably is, but who knows? Who bloody knows? You never know, because no one is perfect in the world of video games. Mistakes are definitely made, especially when you're in the middle of speedrunning something. Just saying, because you have to balance speed and execution while putting an emphasis on speed, more like a 60-40. But I'm just saying. Ninpalk Skip is not very difficult to execute at all. It really isn't. It just takes a bit of practice and timing. Once you're able to figure out the proper timing and the amount of momentum you need to execute the skip, then it's pretty easy. So, like I've said before, the recommended speed of doing the skip is just sliding by walking. Go at a walking speed, like literally just walk by barely moving the analog stick, almost like a sneaking animation, if you know what I mean. It's something like that, but just slightly faster. But, yeah. Just do that. Hold Z to slide in between the cracks of the Joker square and the Death square. Mash the C left button. Go into Talon Trot. Hopefully you'll be able to do it. And if you manage to pull off the Talon Trot while still being able to activate the Death square, answer the question, pray to RNGesus that you get any question but a visual one. That's basically it. That's really all the RNG that's involved with the Ninpalk Skip. So it's basically like a 1 in 5 chance of whether or not you're going to be able to pull off the skip. But about 90% of the time you will be able to pull it off without too much of an issue. Just executing it and timing it properly is, that's the key. And also good RNG too. So, that's basically Ninpalk Skip in a nutshell. Okay, maybe not a nutshell, but more like a technical explanation. Although, I think Dickus Khan could explain this better than I can, but I figured I'd give you all the gist of it, of what I know personally, and how my experiences with the skip work from practicing it for about an hour and a half, until I finally mastered it. Now, as far as other skips, I still need to figure out how to do the 450 note door skip, freeze Z peak early, and reverse V adventure. Excuse me. Both of those skips, or really all 3 of those skips, are the only skips I have left to learn. Other than that, there's really not much else left of learning when it comes to speedrunning the game and fully optimizing it. I'm dead serious. Once you learn how to perform every single skip on a consistent basis, you can then rework your routing, and all there's left is pure optimization. And then after that, world record is a very, very big possibility. But for right now, though, I'm just happy that I even managed to pull off this. Of course, the next time I try to run this game again, I want to knock that time down even further. And the next goal I want to set for myself when it comes to speedrunning this game is a sub 250. Or at least a 250. Sub 250 is what I really want. But regardless, I have been going on for far too long, and I am done here for today. This is General Snivy with Banjo Kazooie Speedrun on N64 on the 100% category. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you were able to attend the live stream live, thank you for attending. The next stream, I'm going to say this now, it's not going to be for a little while, because starting this Saturday and going on until Friday, which, let me pull up the calendar real quick, I'll go ahead and explain. From May 11th to May 17th, I'm not going to be able to stream because that week, I'm going to be watching my aunt's dog, Murphy. So, I'm going to be dog sitting for that entire week. And you may be thinking right now, why not stream on Friday, too? Well, on Friday, May the 10th, I need to be sure I am fully prepared and I know exactly what I'm getting into. Because I have to be in bed by a certain time, so that way I can take my aunt and uncle to the airport. So that way they can go on vacation, and I can go and watch Murphy for them. However, I will be back to streaming. It should be on May the 20th and also May 22nd. At least that is what I'm looking at here. So at this point, I'll be back once again on May 20th for the start of my next playthrough. And on May 22nd, I will be speedrunning this game once again. So, I figured I'd let you all know, but of course I will be announcing this on Twitter as well, and also on the community tab on YouTube. Just figured I'd throw that out there. Anywho, once again, thank you all so much for watching, hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all on the flip side.